Welcome, everybody, to Mud Flood Was Armageddon. The Mud Flood was the Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. I lost my wallet. It fell out of my pants pocket while I was riding my electric mini bike. Got on the ball, getting replacement cards and things are in the mail, but I did get my credit card right away. So today I wouldn't be making a video if I didn't, if I would have put it off even a day because it came due. That my StreamYard bill came due. Work, work, work. And so I still had two test finals this week, but I think I found gold. I was out with going to the rock stores with Mr. Joaquin, a young artist, talented artist, and we found a rock that was abnormally heavy, like those kinds that I say you look for, because gold, what does it weigh? 28 times more than a regular rock. There's limestone, there's gold. It's 28, 27. It's a lot more. And everything that is valuable is more, even like copper and silver, platinum. Platinum is one of the only things I think heavier than gold. I don't know how that works, but you look at the pictures here. I will show a disclaimer because I got a couple of videos I want to show you along the way. Where's that disclaimer? Oh, come on. There's a million of them. I got to close those out because every time I have to go right here and go, oh, there's the disclaimer. See, you've been disclaimed. But now, here we are, ready to look at the pictures. What's this? That looks weird. Oh, I wanted you to see this raindrop, Snell's law. Descartes again, Rene Descartes. I think therefore I am. He said he was able to produce rainbows by passing through a large water-filled flask to simulate a raindrop. Building on something 16, they give it to the same thing. So one raindrop lines up with all of their refracted light, lines up with all of the other raindrops. We're going to get into a little bit of looking at the rainbow. What do you think? So you can see these are diamond edge saw marks. And I tried cutting it with my saw because I have my own little studio. It wouldn't work. I took it over to the the university's art studio. Joaquin, cut this. It couldn't cut it. So we saw a crack in it and we decided to get out a vibrating chisel and we just put it in the crack like it was a mini jackhammer and it split open. And this was in it. This, it doesn't look crystalline. If it was, or boxy, cubic, like pyrite, it looks, I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I was pretty excited because it's so heavy. And this is what it looks like in a different kind of angle because it broke off perfectly. One side, that side fits this side. Vice up. Anyway, there's the outside of it. That is the hardest material. Almost dulled two diamond edge blades. But now that we know about these cracks, I think I'm going to try to hit it and just think that there's more of a crack here than meets the eye and just maybe I can pull off this whole side. There might be something right here. What is that? The guy sold me this rock for $3 at the store. He's like, times are rough in Alamosa, But isn't that interesting? See how we tried to saw it? Here's where I tried to saw it, and then he tried to, and it was just like, can't do it. It's too hard. That was a good idea. It was his idea to try that other chisel. I didn't even know they had it. But some of the gold here at Cripple Creek, I know you have to heat it up and then it turns more gold, but it does come black sometimes. Is that the thumbnail? So here's some of what Joaquin has been working on. He sneaks away from the other college crowd to come. He goes, I got to talk to you sometimes. So I got to remind myself, I'm smart. I'm not like, and I'm going like, you're smart, dude. He is a smart guy. And so he's learning how bad the normal schools are. He put a Masonic thing on there. I don't know who he's making fun of there. But this is for a grade. And look, he dropped this in. He's gone completely flat earth, man. Not space. He's showing a flat earth dome. Do more art. Prove this isn't your world. How cool is that? I'm so we did we look at that one? I think we did. Just try to get a few different angles. These guys were talking about some of the hidden canals. Maybe I'll try to find this one. You have to go down a manhole cover, and then it's called the Henry Avenue Subway. So here's another one. What they did is they made tunnels. This is a creek. And they liked the creek. They wanted to keep the water, but they needed to build the town above it. So that's what they did. Philadelphia, check it out. It's the city of brotherly love. I think they're the football champions of the whole world because they got all the touchdowns right when you need them. And this is another creek under Philadelphia. Those guys in Philadelphia, Ben Franklin, his friends, this was the capital of the United States for a while. It's a Mill Creek. It's run underneath the Philadelphia. I don't know. This is under there too. What are they doing? Selling fruit? Worshiping, bartering. He found that's a pipe. That's how they used to do plumbing. Somebody did it. Here's another picture of logs. They didn't bother to square them off. I don't think you'd save that much room by squaring them off. But they can brace the snot out of the, get the stores. I wonder if they were jacking up the town. Is that one of these deals, or is that what they built on top of the existing stuff and they needed something to hide it? But they were good at lumber. This looks kind of shabby. So does this now that I look at it more. That's not square. Come on, you guys. And what's with this? You just leaving stuff laying around? People take her serious. It's a religious world. They love everything except Jesus and the truth. Water is bad when you use it as a weapon. I was looking at the fate. Yeah, they're buying up all the water. And now they're going to use it against, they're going to make us die slow and thirsty. And now they're talking about, everybody's talking about the exclusion zone. Man, I love the exclusion zone. I'm fascinated with it. This is something else I found the other day. I think that's copper. I should smash it. If I smash it and it turns to dust, then it's pyrite. If I smash it and it gets flat, then it's metal. Let's look at these tabs and then get a little Bible study going. Because I know that you're right now at the point of where you're saying, give me the word, get to the word, or I'm going to perish. First, we got the rainbow thing. I thought this was interesting. Light rays that lie between the primary rainbow angle of 42 degrees and the secondary rainbow at 51 degrees cannot be refracted back toward the viewer due to the concept. They don't know. It's a concept of total internal reflection. Huh. Though these Greek people, maybe their guess is as good as ours. So yeah, that's it. They did it. Those guys figured it out. It's a raindrop along the cone at the 42-degree cone, a little bit further away, a little bit primary rainbow, anti-solar point. Huh? Anyway, real quickly, God put rainbows in the sky and they think they know how they figured it out. And this one guy, it might be that one picture. Now that I'm thinking about it. Did I save a picture of that? No, that's that same Dr. Pollock. He does nail it. But one of the, I hope I can find it. They said they measured the raindrop angles and they could figure out it. Well, why can't they do that with the when you see the sunlight trails that make those spectacular lines? The name slips me. I usually know it. But you all know what I'm talking about. And it shows. You could say, well, that must prove that the Earth is about 3,000 miles above us. And that's what they use for their sextants when they're doing the yachting or the military sailing back in the day. So you need falling water. Your shadow, the 42-degree thing, your shadow has to be longer than you are. If you're this woman and your shadow makes you look like you're 7 foot tall, you could possibly see a rainbow or a double rainbow. So they think they have it figured out because of incident light. They don't have it figured out. It's that ultraviolet paradox. So they think, not all light rays that interact with raindrops form rainbows. Okay. You got to have your eyes directed toward the rainbow angle. That's funny because when I see a rainbow, it never fails when I say, whoever's with me, hey, look, a rainbow. They never go, I don't have the right angle. And they don't have, they could be 40 yards away. I think that they're guessing. And remember, all of this is supposed to be in a perfect circle. I thought raindrops were fat on the bottom like a oblate pear. How about that? I got the old Neil deGrasse Tyson slam in there. It's an oblate spheroid. Anyway, I don't think they have the rainbow figured out, but it's God's sign. We know never again is he going to have the glittering sword hit the people when they're soaking wet. It's like looking in a mirror. 20 years ago, look at me. I'd golf with this guy, but he's a killer. Who would have thunk it? The Mafia Pizza connection, I guess, like the Godfather's pizza chains and that, oh yeah, watch out the pizza place. It was real. They planned it and they did it. These guys did it.
Who'd infiltrated the organization and gotten high up. He first got connected through a mafiosi named Anthony Mira, then Benjamin Ruggiero, and was by 1981 a close confidant and best friend to Dominic Napolitano.
Well, in 1981, that's when they were bringing in the cocaine to get the black people hooked on crack. So Oliver North could sell weapons to people, Sandinistas, Contras. Where was that? Nicaragua?
Were you involved in heroin dealings with your uncle?
I've never been involved with, even my uncle. I never will. And also, according to the testimony, my uncle was no person involved with the drug.
They didn't do anything. These guys did it.
Jersey and whacked him on April 16, 1984. They cut him up and threw him in a drum that was discovered later.
Most things between April 15th and April 19th, that's Hitler's birthday. That's all planned.
And he wouldn't be the last death in the drug ring.
So it's a takeover. It started in 58. They did it. Bringing in the mozzarella cheese.
But neither man died.
Bring
A day later, Lavosa was caught
cocaine.
at his home in Roselle, and he immediately pleaded guilty and ratted out the other men with him on the hit. Pascal Conte Sr.,
Wow. So there's that. Hold on to your hats. Okay, this is a test, everybody. This is a test for your IQ to see if you could join the military for World War I. We're not going to do all the questions. Yeah, Freeway Ricky Ross. He was doing it. He sold those drugs. He made a fortune. Now they got it. If you Google Freeway Ricky Ross, it's not the same one that they're talking about. They got some other guy going, I'm Ricky Ross. Be careful with your Ricky Ross. Bull Durham is a type of chewing gum, aluminum ware, tobacco, or clothing. We're going to go with the tobacco. The 7-Ups is played with, I'm going to guess, cards. The most prominent industry of Minneapolis, A, flour, a Murano, sheep. Garnets are usually green. And Orpington is a kind of, it's showing a chicken. It's a fowl. George Ade is a famous, I'm going to go with baseball player. Soap is made by not Smith & Wesson, not Swift & Co. I don't think. I think they make bacon. Lauren Libby is I'm going to go with a suffragette. An air-cooled engine is used by the Buick, Packard, Franklin, or Ford. Remember, this is to join the military for World War I. See if you're smart enough. It is better to fight than to run because A, cowards are shot. B, it is more honorable. C, if you run away, you may get shot in the back. Why do some men who could afford their own house live in a rented one? I'm going to go with A, because they don't have to pay taxes. Finally, why is beef better food than cabbage because it tastes better, it is more nourishing, it is harder to obtain. I'm thinking they're going to want to go with more nourishing. And it usually doesn't make you fart. The National Crime Commission, I saw this in a video. I thought I wanted to look at it myself to see if it was true. National Crime Commission, back during Franklin Delano as chairman of the committee, another committeeman last week published a report. The lack of average intelligence in the police force, particularly in the supervisory branches. The unfortunate police of Cleveland, Ohio was singled out. An Army intelligence test given in Cleveland revealed only 3% of the patrolmen possessed Class A mentality, as 9% of the privates in the Army do. Not a single detective possessed Class A mentality. 4% of the detectives were Class B, 25 were Class C. 25% of the detectives were markedly inferior mentally. 33% had average intelligence. That's good. 25% were morons. Wow. Cleveland came off better in a table of percentages of arrests made in murder and manslaughter case. They got 83% of them there. St. Louis, they had arrest 16%. Wow. The percentages are so low that one no longer wonders why so many individuals turn to crime. It would appear to be about the safest business in which one could engage. Robbery in Buffalo, for example, must be particularly lucrative, as arrests are made in only 3% of the cases. It must be attributed to an act of God if you get arrested there. So this was from Time Magazine, 1928. I guess this was brought up by the Cleveland one. Here's one that was a little bit more in depth. I guess this is what they looked at. You know, they're trying to make excuses for him, and it's just that, you know, their results are, you know, maybe we should say that cops should have a high school diploma for once, you know, maybe even a couple of years of training. That would help, because now all the cops, you know, that's what we do now, and we don't have any trouble with the police. This is from a couple of days ago. I guess they want people to know there's an option out there, or they're going to turn against it soon, but they're propping it up now. I'd say be careful. If you don't know what you're doing or what to expect, maybe you should come and let me make sure you do it right. I'm not a doctor. This would have to be something, you know, it's one of those things, because as far as I know, I don't know what they're talking about, that it causes, naturally causing hallucinations. I don't believe that you're ever going to see something that's not there. Or like, oh my goodness, I thought I saw a wall melting, and not be able to figure it out after a half a second of like, oh, it's reflection of the light or something. So they're in the news, it's there. People, it's saying people that are depressed are leaning to it. But if you don't lean into it with the right intent, or thinking that this is a magic mushroom or a magic button or a magic band where you can check this off your list and now I did that, then everything's going to be okay. They don't know. This guy here, they thought they were going to help him fix the trees in Ireland.
Lickably is also tasked with caring for our forests, much like when I let my cats look after the bird sanctuary. Ireland gained independence, but we never reclaimed the land spiritually or ecologically. When the
He's saying Ireland gained independence. I know it sounded like Ireland gained it.
State was founded
You want
just
to make fun of him? Listen to it.
independence, but we never reclaimed. Much like when I let my cats look after the bird sanctuary. Ireland
It's the last of the accents. They just don't get the CNN news enough in Ireland because pretty soon the whole world will. Well, that's their goal.
gained independence, but we never reclaimed the land spiritually or ecologically.
I missed.
When the state was founded, bird sanctuary. Ireland gained independence, but we never reclaimed the land spiritually or ecologically. When the state was founded, just 1% of our land was covered with native trees. Today, we've made incredible strides forward. It's just under 2%. It's
I
astonishing
think their state was founded in 1923.
to me that in over a
know.
century, we've been unable to increase the native forest cover by less than 1%.
Who's making all the money, dude? Get to it. Go.
Tries. This isn't forestry. It's forestry-themed capitalism, and is costing us our soil, our water, and any real hope of ecological recovery. This approach hasn't just failed to restore nature, it's damaging it in real time. Fertilizers used to speed up growth have run off into rivers, choking them with algae, pools of dark red water rich in tannins, a clear sign of a disrupted ecosystem.
You know, I don't know because the Milwaukee River naturally has tannin, and it's kind of brown in a lot of places, but it's never poison. It's tannin. Maybe if it doesn't flow too much, but I've heard this before, so I'm not sure about tannin.
In
Except Biff Tannen, I'm quite sure he's the bad guy.
Connemara, Quilcha tried to fell over 300 hectares of trees, but Galway County Council blocked them because even dead plantations can hold a place better together than bare soil after felling.
Here in all the water, I'm going to do a show pretty soon on how, everything is, they're charging for water. It's going to be how they kill us.
Here, a devastating fungal disease. It's a fungal disease. And somehow it reached Ireland before it ever touched England. An official 2021 report from the Department of Agriculture calls its arrival a complex and unresolved mystery. They claimed the disease was only detected in 2012, but had likely been here for years beforehand. Now, I find that hard to believe for two reasons. First, because it hadn't been detected in England, which lies between Ireland and the rest of mainland Europe.
All right, that's a pretty good argument.
Pathogens don't leapfrog countries, they spread gradually across connected land and trade routes. Secondly, ash dieback doesn't keep a low profile. The symptoms are visible. The dieback is dramatic, so the idea that it was quietly spreading here for years undetected doesn't really hold up.
No, and plus the fact that they're proven liars. This guy here just feathers his bed.
Agents dropped from planes to kill the trees on purpose. And I want to tell you that that's not true. Stop spreading that. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Quilcha released this conspiracy.
Huh. So expose one thing, but not everything. I don't know. What's going on here?
It was caused by a forestry buddy so obsessed with Sitka spruce that they ran out of space to grow native trees, so they outsourced the job to a nursery where the disease was already spreading. The ash dieback didn't mark the decline of a single species, it exposed something deeper, a system obsessed with short-term output and no regard for long-term impact. The same.
That's because they're planning on letting the world burn down. Wrap it up. I think that he's not worried enough about the man. He's worried about the plan to save the planet. If he was in America, he'd probably vote for Trump.
A national priority, because this isn't just about trees. It's about water quality, soil health, flood resilience, carbon storage, national identity, mental health, and long-term survival. The good.
Yeah, well, he didn't mention rights for women, did he? Body part, body part. Oh, he sees it where the ear cochlear nerve is. They call it ammonite. They get a lot bigger than that. Wow, man. Let's look at some of these things. What is going to be purified 7 times? Purified. Going to be like incense, pure as refined gold, refined silver. Go to the place where they find and refine the gold. Distill the rain. That's what water does. And in Psalm 12:6, purified on the earth 7 times. For the cause of the oppressed, for the groaning of the needy, I will now arise, says the Lord. I will bring safety to him who yearns. The words of the Lord are flawless, like silver refined in a furnace, like gold purified 7-fold. You, O Lord, will keep us. You will guard us from this generation. Woo. The wicked wander freely, but not P. Diddy. But, he's taken a fall for a lot of people that were at those parties, I think. Vileness is exalted among the men. Ooh, man. So, not a lot of usage. Refined, pretty good root word here. It's purify 7 times. That's how they do it. Pure, different word, purified, pure, clean, every clean animal. That's pure, that's clean, pure gold. Overlay it with pure, clean gold, make sure. And again, this is in Exodus. Everything's got to be pure. Those buckles, everything on the tent, the tabernacle, pure. Everything's got to be pure gold, pure salt. Pure like silver. So something in the New Testament, when you refine, to burn, to set on fire, to inflame. Are you going to show Revelation here? When it has been made to glow in a furnace. Is that what the Savior looks like? There it is. Then I turned to see the voice that was speaking to me, and on turning, I saw 7 gold lampstands. In the midst of the lampstands was one like a son of man, clothed with a long robe and with a golden sash around his chest. The hairs of his head were white, like white wool, like snow. His eyes were like a flame of fire. His feet were like burnished bronze, refined in a furnace, and his voice was like the roar of many waters. That would be and will be a sight to see. 4448. So here's another one. I guess that's like being refined when you're falling in love for all the right reasons, and you know you don't want to mess things up because, well, they were living through it, what they said, these, these perilous times that they were living in, the end is near. But if you're burning, don't sin, get married. Do I not burn inwardly? 2 Corinthians, he's explaining to them, because there had been a falling away in the first one. There had been even some incest type things. The man was excommunicated, and he did the right thing. He was repenting to the point, and he was saying, let's get this guy back, welcome him back, and let's start worrying about yourself, because they're going over in 11 and here, very important things. Should you wear a head covering? How do you speak in tongues and things? Or am I too much on that? That might be in chapter 7. So mildness and gentleness, he's appealing to them. Though they live in the flesh, we do not wage war against the flesh. The weapons of our warfare are not weapons of the flesh. Instead, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments. That's what I'm looking to do, debate. But when the truth is on your side, you can go 8 years without somebody saying, I am ready to debate you, Mr. Paco. Okay. Well, I'm ready. We do not dare to classify or compare ourselves with someone who commend themselves. Wow. They were getting to it. Let's go to chapter 7. I mean, he was covering some pretty hard stuff here. Well, I'm just not good on these chapters. Well, that wasn't going to be about it anyway. It was about the refining. You're going to be refined. The idea is that when we do find this gold and process it, I don't think we need to use mercury or cyanide poisons. They used borax for the longest time, because I'm not saying we shouldn't find gold. We should. As long as we do it the right way.
Borax to melt gold can be a useful technique to reduce the formation of oxides and other impurities during the melting process. Borax acts as a flux, which means it helps to remove impurities by forming a fluid slag layer that floats on top of the molten gold. To use borax when melting gold, you should first melt the gold in a crucible or furnace until it is fully liquefied. Then, sprinkle a small amount of borax onto the surface of the molten gold and stir it in with a stirring rod. The borax will dissolve and help to reduce any impurities present. It is important to note that while borax can be helpful in removing impurities, it should be used in moderation.
As should everything. Well, I was really busy. I've got a lot of things going, trying to get a new wallet. What's in your wallet? What wallet? It fell out of my pocket because that stupid Velcro in those REI cargo pants is so hard. You can't just, break it open. It takes 2 hands. So I get lazy sometimes and I put it in my front pocket, and it must have fallen out. Some meth head or somebody charged up a bunch of stuff, and going to the liquor store at 8:30 in the morning. Look, I found this guy's wallet, instead of keeping the couple $100 that was in it and just saying, here, I found a wallet. Nope. So I'm jumping through hoops on finals week. It's always one thing or the other because that's the way that God has it. And I think I'll cast my cares on him, knowing that what are you going to do? I'm the 68-year-old Salt Paco artist. I write books. I teach on YouTube. You're going to throw me in a home in Texas for a year and a half with a broken heel? I'm just going to make videos because that's what I do on this flat earth nation with the golden age past. Now that we know the mud flood was the Armageddon, then we know they added 1,000 years. That was the golden age that was past. And after that, they had the reaping again where the wheats and the tares were separated. Then the whole orphan trade mess with your brain, Hegelian dialectic. What? It's not a globe? No, it's not a globe. And me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else. Why would we? One called, two chosen, three faithful. We're trying to prove we have your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Knock it, Meg. Adios, hombre.